Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Steve again, Harmless Rebel. It's time for the final live album update. This one is the non-metal update. There's still some hard rock and stuff in here, um, but let's just jump into it. First up, I can't remember how good this one was. It's been a while since I listened to it. I did like it though. If I remember correctly, it was like a 5 or 6 out of 10. But this is Thin Lizzy Tokyo 1980. Um, really killer lineup. I want to say this 1980 was at the Black Rose tour. Pretty sure it was, but the full Japanese broadcast. I mean, it definitely just Thin Lizzy at their best. Really, like I said, really killer set list. I remember, I believe this one was really good, and then I believe this one was a little bit less good. Maybe like one step down. But this one is Phil Lynott and Phil Lynott and Grand Slam, the live document. This is the UK tour, 1984. So by this time he was already starting to things were getting bad for Phil, but still I love the stuff from his solo album. So you've got Yellow Pearl 19, Harlem, Parisian Walkways, Cold Sweat, Sisters of Mercy, crime rates going up, Military Man of Dedication. Um, the only thing that knocks this one down a little bit is the vocals are a little out front compared to the rest of the band. And by the second song, you kind of get used to it and it doesn't bother you as much. But initially, that first song, it kind of bothered me a little bit. But like I said, it kind of eased in. And then I really like this, though. And just having this era of Phil doing the solo stuff. Again, I really love the solo album stuff. So next up, man, this thing sounds fantastic. This is Waiting for Columbus from Little Feat. This is one of the great live albums. I know a lot of people would put this in their top five double lives of all time. It's funny, I'm not a huge fan of Little Feat's albums, but I've always loved the live album. I just think they sound a little too sterile on the studio albums for me, as opposed to how electric they are on this. But so this is the brand new reissue that got done. It was remixed. Oh man, I'm drawing a blank. Does it say on the back who remixed it? I know who it is. The name's just not popping into my head. So I had the original MoFi, which a lot of people thought was the best sounding version of this. The original MoFi from the early 80s. I had that for years. When I bought this, I sold that. I threw that for sale the next day. This one blows it out of the water. If you run across this, grab it. It's fantastic. Next two, both of these are really good. I've also got some other bootlegs um, from Smashing Pumpkins. The 93, so Dancing in the Moonlight. Oh, that's funny. I was just showing the Thin Lizzy. Anyway, the Dancing in the Moonlight. Um, this is, where is this? Wisconsin. Central Park Ballroom, 1993. I like their earlier live stuff, even though I like this one. I thought I would have liked better because of the songs. But this is fantastic. Really dig this one. This one, it's just not as good a sound quality as the other one, but the songs are fantastic on here because you have the albums from Melancholy on here, which were not on the last one. Still worth grabbing. This one just doesn't sound as good as the first, but I love these Smashing Pumpkins FM broadcasts. I think I've got 3 or 4 of them now. I've probably got more than that, and they all sound really good. Next up, another just classic live album. This is Gary Moore. We Want More, recorded live in concert. I think this was multiple dates. Let's see if it's yeah. So they're all recorded different places, and most of them look like they're from Detroit. a couple from Glasgow, one from the Hammersmith Odeon, and one from the Budokan. So these are different points on the 84 tour. I believe this one, where is this pressing from? It looks like this is a German pressing. But it sounds fantastic. I ended up getting this one for really cheap. I had never seen this one, this live album before. I don't think it was ever released in the US, which may be why. Really killer set list though. And if you run across this one, I would definitely grab it. Next up, they just did the reissue. I don't remember if they remixed it or remastered it, but they just did Dark Side of the Moon. I had no interest in another copy of Dark Side of the Moon. I've got the quadraphonic pressing, which I highly, highly recommend. It blows away any other pressing of that I've ever heard. I know there's a 2011 that it's really sought after, and those are going for like $300. I think the quad is the way to go, though. You can get that for 50 or $60. But I did buy the where is this one? Live at Wembley 1974, and I really dig this. Just watch where you get it from. For most of the stores had this for like $35, $39. And I'm starting to see it for like $27, $28 now. So you should be able to find this for a good price. Definitely worth grabbing though. Next up, Pixies live from Coachella. Love the Pixies, especially the early stuff. This was during that period where Kim Deal was back in the band. So I was really happy to grab this for Record Store Day. Another one that was priced way too high for Record Store Day, but you could get like 2 weeks later for like $29, $30. So another one where it would have been worth it to just wait. Let's see. And I've talked about this before. I love the early Pixies. Joey Santiago is one of the most underrated guitarists out there. A lot of the Nirvana sound, a lot of that early 90s sound comes from Joey Santiago. But really cool set. Speaking of underrated guitarists, I just did a video with Patrick and Vance. Who else? Bitbop Boom, John, where we talked about underrated guitar players, and this was my number one. Probably the greatest guitar player of all time, Rory Gallagher, live at San Diego, 1974. This is fantastic. If you run across this, grab it. 10 out of 10. It doesn't get better than Rory Gallagher. Guy is just amazing. Jeff Beck. Jeff Beck and Rory Gallagher. I mean, those are the guys right there. And I love Jimi Hendrix. Don't get me wrong. I love all those guys. Those are the two, though. And then last but not least, Topographic Drama from Yes. This is... Does it say... It was released in 2017. One of the websites had this on clearance, so I paid like $22 for it. But this is a triple live. And it's fantastic. I mean, it's obviously got, it's mostly songs from Topographic Oceans and from Drama. But it's also got Starship Trooper on here and Roundabout, which I don't believe were on either of those albums. But this is, you've still got Steve Howe on the band. You've still got Alan White. This is with, John Davison on vocals. Fantastic, though. If you run across this. Again, I wouldn't pay the $40 or whatever it was going for, but if you can find this for a good deal, it's a fantastic live set. That's it, guys. I hope everybody's doing good. I'll see you soon, VC. Later.